The Galactic Adoption Center on Station Kepler 442 was quiet that evening, save for the soft humming of containment fields and the occasional chirp from exotic creatures awaiting homes. Connett walked slowly past the enclosures, his worn boots echoing against the metal floor. He wasn't sure what he was looking for, only that his small cargo ship felt emptier than usual after 3 years of solo trading routes. Looking for something specific? Bella, the shelter coordinator, appeared beside him. Her nameplate gleamed under the artificial lights, and her smile was practiced but genuine. "Just browsing," Connett replied, pausing at a pen containing a small-scaled creature huddled in the corner. Unlike the vibrant advertisements showing majestic space dragons with iridescent wings spanning entire corridors, this one was barely the size of a house cat. Its scales were dull gray, several patches missing entirely, revealing pink skin underneath. One wing hung at an odd angle, clearly broken and healed incorrectly. "That's Ember," Bella said softly, her professional demeanor cracking slightly. "He's been here for 8 months. Nobody wants him." Connett crouched down, meeting the dragon's eyes. They were golden, enormous, and filled with a sadness that made his chest ache. What happened to him? Bella pulled up a datapad, though her expression suggested she'd memorized the file long ago. "Found drifting in an escape pod near the Andromeda border. Best we can figure, his clutch was killed by raiders. He was the only survivor. The trauma stunted his growth in that wing." She trailed off. "He'll never fly properly. Most species want dragons for prestige, for protection, for their flight capabilities. Ember can't offer any of that." The dragon made a sound, not quite a chirp, not quite a whimper. It gutted Connett in a way he didn't expect. "I'll take him," he heard himself say. Bella's eyebrows shot up. "Are you sure? Dragons are a huge commitment, even healthy ones. Ember will need constant care, specialized food. I'm sure." 3 weeks later, Connett wondered if he'd made a terrible mistake. Ember refused to eat the expensive dragon nutrition blocks, cowered at every sound, and spent most of his time hiding in the cargo hold. The veterinarian, a stern Quillarian with 4 arms, had been blunt. "Humans and dragons rarely bond successfully. Your species lack the pheromone compatibility. This one is especially damaged. Consider returning him." But Connett was human, and humans were stubborn about the strangest things. He started small. Instead of the recommended dragon food, he cooked simple meals, proteins, vegetables, grains, and ate beside Ember's hiding spot, narrating his day. He played soft music, earth classical, filling the silence. He never forced proximity, never demanded affection. On the 43rd day, Ember crept out and took food from his hand. On the 60th day, the dragon fell asleep against his leg. On the 87th day, everything changed. Connett was running a cargo delivery to the mining colony on Titan 7 when the proximity alarm screamed. 3 pirate fighters, outdated but deadly, had locked onto his ship. His vessel was a freighter, not a fighter. He had no weapons, no shields worth mentioning. "This is your only warning," came the transmission. "Cut engines and prepare to be boarded." Connett's hands flew across the controls, desperately calculating jump coordinates, knowing he wouldn't make it in time. Behind him, Ember emerged from the cargo hold, scales bristling, that broken wing trembling. The dragon's eyes weren't sad anymore. They were furious. What happened next would be analyzed by xenobiologists for decades. Ember opened his mouth, and instead of the weak sparks that dragons his size typically managed, a column of plasma erupted forth, white-hot, sustained, impossibly powerful. The blast punched through the ship's hull, through the vacuum of space, and struck the lead pirate fighter dead center. It didn't just disable it, it vaporized it. The other 2 fighters scattered, jumping away in panic. Connett sat frozen, staring at the impossible display. Ember collapsed, exhausted, smoke curling from his nostrils. Within hours, the incident had reached Station Kepler 442. Within days, it became galactic news. Xenobiologists, dragon experts, and researchers from a dozen species converged on Connett's ship. Bella was among them, datapad in hand and wonder in her eyes. "We ran every test," she explained, voice shaking with excitement. "Ember isn't stunted. He was in a defensive hibernation state, a trauma response. But living with you, the way you cared for him, your human stubbornness and refusal to give up. It triggered something." "What?" Connett asked. Ember perched protectively on his shoulder despite the crowd. "Dragons are empathic creatures," an elderly researcher explained. "They bond at a neurochemical level. Other species try to dominate them, harness them, control them. You humans do something different. You offer partnership, equality. That bond, combined with this dragon's trauma-hardened survival instincts, created something unprecedented. He's the most powerful dragon ever recorded, Bella added quietly, and he chose you. The offers came flooding in. Military contracts, research positions, fame and fortune beyond imagination. Kenneth declined them all. Instead, he upgraded his ship's cargo hold into a proper living space, installed a viewport so Ember could watch the stars, and continued running his modest trade routes. But word spread among the isolated colonies, the forgotten outposts, the desperate stations. When pirates came, when raiders threatened, when the galaxy's forgotten people called for help, Kenneth and Ember answered. The human who adopted the unwanted dragon became a legend, not for power or prestige, but for proving that sometimes the broken things, the rejected things, the ones nobody else wanted, they just needed someone stubborn enough to see their worth. And across the galaxy, adoption rates at shelters skyrocketed. Suddenly everyone wanted to find their own Ember, their own unlikely partnership, their own chance to prove that humanity's greatest strength wasn't technology or firepower. It was the stubborn, irrational, beautiful refusal to give up on those who needed them most.